What's up, fuckers? It's tea time. 2020 was like the pages of the book of Revelation come to life. Fires, earthquakes, disease, famine, locusts, riots, and violence. Even the Antichrist was out and about, dancing to the fucking YMCA. Or what, that was Donald Trump. Fortunately, 2020 wasn't the apocalypse. It was just one of the final chapters of the Trumpocalypse. Because Trump lost the election. Just like Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. And while Trump and the Antichrist certainly are hard to tell apart on paper, they're not the same thing. COVID-19's unfortunate arrival into our lives jump-started a state of panic and left some of us with frightening questions like, is this the arrival of one of the four horsemen? Or, will I have enough Charmin Ultra Soft to wipe my ass tonight? Because there's nothing like a virus to get Americans worried about Satan and diarrhea. Now, with the arrival of the COVID vaccine, the prime candidates for natural deselection have new concerns like, is the COVID vaccine the mark of the beast? This is what happens when the wrong person gets into the gene pool when the lifeguard isn't watching. The COVID vaccine isn't the mark of the beast, but being a Trumpublican just might be. In the Bible, Revelations chapter 13 tells us that the Antichrist's right-hand man, the beast, also known as the false prophet, will introduce a mark to bolster his one-world rule. Hey, Donald Trump says he's the chosen one. Sounds like a fucking false prophet to me. Taking the mark is the perfect way to destroy your salvation, or in this case, your political career. There are many theories on what the mark of the beast is. Some think a red-horned man is going to stamp the number 666 on your forehead. And honestly, a red MAGA hat is basically the same thing. Others, like myself, think the mark of the beast wouldn't be physical, but a symbolic way of signifying the loyalty of the Antichrist's followers and their devotion to him. Loyalty and devotion like committing treason for the Antichrist of the Trumpocalypse or participating in domestic terrorism. Either one. It appears that not everyone is going to turn over a new leaf this year. Some corrupt GOP politicians are still on the Trump train. Ted Cruz is proving to the American people that he is the biggest prick of all by showing us how tiny his testicles are. What do you do after someone calls your wife ugly and accuses your father of murdering a former president? Why, you lead a coalition of Republican senators to receive the mark of the beast, of course. Hello? Cowardly Cruz and his friends rejected presidential electors' votes from certain states last night. This treacherous behavior will be stamped on their foreheads for the rest of their political careers like 3 6s. We will always remember how they acted when democracy was up for debate. But my favorite thing is that some of these Republican senators who were declaring voter fraud were elected in that same election. Bless their heart-shaped voids. They're about as bright as Alaska during the winter, I'll tell you that. But what makes it even worse is Cindy Hyde-Smith, Roger Marshall, John Kennedy, Tommy Tuberville, Rick Scott, Cynthia Lummis, Scott Perry, Josh Hawley, and of course Ted Cruz all went through with their chicken shit objections after the domestic terrorist attack on the nation's capital. A domestic terrorist attack that was incited by the President of the United States himself. Luckily for them, though, this mob of terrorists was white. The MAGA mob showed us several things yesterday, like walls aren't very effective. As they climbed the walls of the Capitol, they showed the world that in America, white privilege is in fact real. White privilege was on full display for every eye to see during the white privilege invasion. If this coup attempt had been done by Black Lives Matter, the Capitol would have become the house of 1,000 corpses. The Capitol steps would have been black and red. But because racism, white supremacy, and white privilege are real, there was only one kill on Capitol Hill by police. But do y'all remember the good old days when there was just a bill on Capitol Hill? But in Donald Trump's America, you'll find bills, bodies, and bombs on Capitol Hill. While only one was killed by police, the death count was actually 4. There were no tanks, no rubber bullets, and the National Guard was initially kept back by the Department of Defense. Trump didn't want them there. The white terrorists were practically ushered in. Come on, my friends, let's go. Thirsty? Water? What was that? Oh yeah, Pelosi's office is just down the hall. Keep it moving. There's video footage of cops opening barricades and taking selfies with these thugs, or white supremacists helping white supremacists. Same thing. I heard news anchors last night, with good intentions, say things like children watching in this country will think this behavior is normal, and it's not. But it absolutely is. Maybe not the Capitol being invaded, but the racism and the white supremacy that allowed it to happen absolutely is. We can't lie anymore about color blindness in this country. Systemic racism runs through America's veins. A country founded on white supremacy and racism will thrive on white supremacy and racism. When are we going to address white supremacy and call it what it really is? It's a weapon of mass destruction in America. Donald Trump's presidency has been a weapon of mass destruction in America from day one. The resignations are flooding in after yesterday's desecration of the nation's capital, but you know what? It means nothing. You don't get to carry Donald Trump for 4 years and then days before he's out of the White House, you drop him. You know what that sounds like to me? A late-term abortion. And if we've learned anything from the GOP, it's that the right to choose is a no-no. But y'all did have a choice, and you chose the mark of the beast, and that's going to leave an orange skid mark on your career for the rest of your lives. We won't forget. Remember their names, America. Remember their faces. Stop voting for whoever hates gays and whoever hates women's rights. Vote for morality, ethics, integrity, equality, and peace. And don't vote for anyone who bears the mark of the beast. Maggots, your Trump flags, hats, bumper stickers, and Trump shirts will be your mark. The world is watching. Your fellow Americans are watching. Your family, your friends, and even your employers are watching. Trump said he'd march with you yesterday, and he left you high and dry like he usually does. He wanted this chaos so he could basically tweet, "See what happens when you make me angry?" The Antichrist of the Trumpocalypse reign of terror is coming to an end because you didn't stop the certification of the electoral votes yesterday. You didn't hold the Senate. You didn't win the presidency. You lost, and you lost yourselves in this process. Democracy will always prevail. I want everybody to have a great fucking day, unless you're fine with domestic terrorism.